I'm pretty frustrated tonight.
It took us a minute to finally press play and actually record today.
And why is that?
Well, we're having some technical difficulties.
Okay.
And, I think that I don't want to talk about it anymore because I don't want to just like sit in that frustration.
You don't want to make it a thing.
Let's take ourselves out of that frustration. And it's like, we're here now. Let's do what we can with what we've got and, get the job done. We're here to do that.
Yeah, this is one of those intros where Alia just gets in her...
Yeah, I think it's because the energy, like your energy right now is kind of like down here and we need to bring it up.
It's
we
not
need to
matched.
bring up the juice.
Yeah.
We need to squeeze it out.
Yeah, welcome to episode 54.
54 of the Wow, we're doing the intro already?
I mean, yeah, sometimes you just got to get to it.
That's true.
Because sometimes people be like, you take way too long to start the intro.
I mean,
and honestly... The last intro was 20 minutes in, which...
the problem is we just don't know. We can't please everyone. There's some people that are like, oh, I love the random chit chatter at the beginning, you catching up. I love that so much. And then there's the other people that are like, can we just get to it? Like, I don't care about you guys catching up. I want to hear what the actual topic is about. Like, I clicked on it. It says... talking to strangers. I want to hear about you talking to strangers.
And that's fair.
Yeah, that's
because fair. If I'm a listener,
especially if you're a new listener,
yes, you don't know, like they don't really know how we have the podcast.
Yeah, like they don't know what our name is. Yeah, I should probably
have the phone.
Yeah, you should probably turn off all your phones so you don't get distracted.
Maybe the thing is happening because I have it. We should put it on Do Not Disturb.
We should put it on airplane mode.
Autopilot.
What? Autopilot? Yeah, so the reason why we're saying we have technical difficulties is because there's this like weird, if you're hearing like a weird hissing sound in the background.
It sounds like the news.
It is picking up the AM news or whatever, you have like FM radio, but you also have the AM. I don't really know what that is because who listens to the AM radio? But either way, that it's picking up some radio frequencies and we can't figure out how to get rid of them. So if you're into like sound engineering or anything like that,
please let us know. Yeah.
Because the internet keeps saying a bunch of technical shit and I'm like, I don't even know what this means. Can you just tell me what I need to get? But yeah, so that's why we're a little frustrated because we couldn't really figure it out. But either way, we're here to pod. Today was kind of a weird day for me just to do a little catch up, a little, warm up before we get into the juice. It was one of those Saturdays. Today's Saturday when we're recording this. And it was one of those Saturdays that it's like, okay, it's Saturday. It's the weekend. But I had a little bit of work to do. And because I had that work hanging over my head, I felt like I couldn't completely relax into like a weekend mode.
Okay.
However, I wasn't totally 100% like work mode either. So it was one of those days where I wasn't that productive because it wasn't a work day, but I also wasn't so relaxed as I would like to be and kind of like feeling that free time that I have because it's a weekend. So it was that in between. Like I didn't get to be relaxed, but I also didn't get to be productive, and it's an in between that I don't like.
So what are you saying?
Nothing. I feel like some people.
So you're saying that today was productive?
Today was very random.
I mean, it's okay. It's Saturday too.
I know, but I feel like I didn't squeeze either the relaxation. Why is that hard to say? The relaxation.
That's not how you say it.
Wrong. How do you say it? Relaxation.
I don't know.
Yeah, so
relaxation.
I didn't get like the relaxation that I feel like I should have gotten on a Saturday. But I also, because I had work, but then the work that I did, I wasn't as productive as like I wanted to be. So I just didn't get either of the sides that I could get. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Should we just get into it?
Yeah, sure. I'm ready to get into it, honestly.
Okay.
This might be the fastest intro that we have.
Yeah, because
this is only like 4 minutes in, and
I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
Let's not make it a thing, let's just get into it.
I feel like
wait, have we officially introduced?
No, I feel like this is what I was going to say right before you said that. Yeah. I feel like as soon as people hear the music, this is when they know when
we're like preparing to get
like the pod is starting now, actually. Because sometimes we'll be talking for like 20 minutes and then it's like, okay, we should start the pod now.
Yeah, like you should hear the intro music.
But this is the thing. Some people love it And a lot of people are like,
yeah. So if
what are you
you're
guys talking about?
whatever side you're on,
let us know in the comments.
yeah. But anyways, welcome to another episode of the What's the Juice podcast. I'm your host, Alia.
I feel like you always expected me to say, hey, my name is Yoni Kodo.
Okay, so what's your name?
My name is Yoni Kodo, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things in the world.
Which is?
I can't stop smiling because of how much I love this shit.
Yeah, and you're probably like, what are you talking about?
Well, obviously, if you see the title, it says strangers.
No, it says the title's going to be talking to strangers.
Yes, and if you know me, you know how much I love talking to strangers. It could be the first time we ever met. The thing is, if I start to talk to like a stranger and I do a really good job at like detecting if they're like a genuine soul or not. I feel like everybody can I'm not saying it like it's my superpower, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying I love when someone is just a nice person.
And you can just tell by the few words or like the small interaction you had, you can tell from just that you could have a good conversation with them.
Yes.
Like you could sit down and just talk about life.
Yeah. And this is my favorite thing because as you know, when you talk to a stranger, I don't know if everybody does this, by the way. I was going to ask you, I can tell them my nastiest secrets.
Nastiest secrets.
Because I know that I'm never going to see them again.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they're never going to see me
again.
What
secrets you got though?
You know all of them already.
Okay.
But I'm just saying I wouldn't tell that maybe there's some things that I don't tell people I know. You know those?
Or maybe there's just some things like
I feel like
in a way you can actually be like specifically vulnerable about a thing in your life.
Yes.
Because you know that you're most likely not going to see them again, and you're getting it off your chest. But if you were saying that to your friend, you're going to see your friend again because they're your friend. So it kind of.
And also, you know that a stranger, this is the first time they meet you, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to judge you.
I feel like they can judge you.
I've had many interactions with strangers, right? And sometimes people told me some wild shit. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I'm thinking, first of all, thank you for even just sharing that with me. I don't necessarily judge them because it's like, that's just their life story. It is what it is.
Right.
But everybody got some crazy shit in their life. And that's why I love them most. And yo, this might be, are we keeping this like,
what?
I don't know, because I can really get into this shit.
That's why we're here. We're getting into this.
Okay.
And it might seem kind of random to talk about, just the idea of talking to strangers. But I think Yoni and I's approach around talking to strangers, we've really seen how we actually have a different approach about it.
Yes.
Because let's say we walk into an elevator. Yoni, let's say we're in the elevators as the two of us, but it stops at a different floor. And then someone else comes in. Yoni would greet that person that comes into the elevator.
Yeah.
I am I wouldn't say anything.
It's so awkward not to say anything,
I don't think so, because I don't think anyone that's the thing. I think most people don't expect to have an interaction with strangers if it doesn't make sense, if there isn't a purpose. Like asking them, if they're working at a coffee shop, that's obviously a stranger you don't know, but there's a reason why you're talking to them. Or if you're asking them like, oh, hey, do you have the time? Or like, hey, do you know what direction is the city hall or whatever on the street? Or maybe they dropped something on the ground. Or maybe they're struggling with their bags and it's an old lady. And then you ask her like, hey, do you need help with that? You know what I mean? But just usually in certain social situations, you expect that strangers don't expect a conversation from you or a greeting from you. And when we're in an elevator, I would look at that person and then maybe smile at them. But I wouldn't go as far, even though it's not that far. But I wouldn't just greet them and then they...
Wow, saying hello to Alia is going so far. If someone comes in, I'm like, hey, what's up? And it all depends. I think
that's already a conversation starter.
No, it's not. It all depends on what they say back to me. So, for example,
what if
right?
they don't say shit?
If if they don't say anything, cool.
I feel like it's so awkward.
No, but that's fine. That's totally fine. I said I don't do this to have the interaction. I do this for me.
Okay.
No, like I do it. It sounded wrong when I say I do it for me. But I just like to greet people. And especially if I'm having an amazing day, oh my God, I will talk to every person I'll see
on
the street.
That's true.
And I don't know why I do it, but I feel like it makes my day better just knowing. I get a sense of like, we all live in this
world,
on this planet.
Oh my God.
We're all part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I want to make sure that I contribute just love. No, honestly, it sounds so like.
I mean, but I know that it's true.
Like, I just want.
You just want to contribute and share goodness.
Exactly. So someone comes in the elevator, maybe they're having a shitty day, right? They walk in, and I'm like, let's say it's a guy, right? Mm-hmm. They walk in, I'm like, hey, what's up? Not to ask him, it's not a question, or I would just say, hey.
Question, but
yeah, and depends on if they say, I'm good. How about you? Honestly, if someone asks me how I'm doing,
yeah, you're gonna get into it.
I'm gonna get into it.
You would.
And sometimes that's why sometimes in my head it's like, I'll be honest. Sometimes I don't feel like talking all the time.
Yeah.
So then I just won't do it. But if I'm having a good day and I ask someone how you're doing, mm-hmm. and then they ask me how I'm doing, I'm definitely going to get into it. Mm. And sometimes it's funny because I get so into it to where that person may not be prepared for all that. Yeah. Like I would just tell them, I went to the studio today. I had a photo shoot, and then I worked with this model, and it was like I would get into it like that.
And it would be like, okay, I didn't actually. It's such a funny thing.
But if you ask me how I'm doing, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. But I think that's not the social expectation that we're the agreement that we're kind of all under is like when you have those exchanges with strangers, but especially if it's like in a service specific scenario mm-hmm. of like you're talking to someone at a coffee shop or a restaurant or you're going to a store of some kind. Like in those situations, the back and forth between like, hey, how are you? Good. Hey, how are you back? Or how's your day going or whatever? Nobody's really expecting like the truth.
I know.
And when you kind of get into it, it gets like, you can tell when the other person actually didn't mean to hear all that. Like wasn't truly asking and caring like, oh, how's your day going? Because there are some people that would actually respond back to like, let's say I'm saying, oh, I'm good, just had like a pretty chill day at home, whatever. Let's say I'm going to the grocery store and I'm at the checkout. The other person might be like, oh, cool. And then they might say something about like, oh, I have some dinner plans later. Or if I ask them back, like sometimes.
But honestly, nobody cares. Nobody cares about your dinner plans. Nobody cares,
but it does make an experience like more enjoyable. But then there's some times where I really don't care.
I'll be honest. Most times I actually don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's just to talk because I'm having a good day. The sun is shining. Why not talk to a stranger? Maybe mm-hmm. your conversation can make their day better. Maybe they had a shitty day. I don't know. I think about random shit like that.
But I think you have that. Listen, that's one option, but then you have a second option where you actually care.
If you're a stranger and I've never met you, it's really hard for me to care because I don't know you.
Yeah, but
so like, do I care? Do I actually care about your dinner plans? No, I don't even know who you're going with. I don't know you. I'm never gonna see you again.
Okay, but
saying care, it's like
I'm talking about more other times. Like, how you always tell me that you are at work or something and a really good conversation starts with a stranger and you're like, I could sit down and talk to this person for a really long time.
Yes.
And that's where a stranger, even though they're a stranger and you're never going to see them again, there's value in that interaction. And I think you have that a lot more often than I do.
Yeah.
And I think for some reason it's about the idea that I just don't expect the stranger to care. And also, I don't know them. There's no relatability there.
You want to know why I love talking to strangers? Because, and I told you this many times.
Yeah.
it's simply because everyone has such a different story. And I'm always, the fact that every single person that I see on the street has a completely different life.
Yeah.
Like, I always wonder, like, have you ever, when you're in your car and you just wonder, like, man, I wonder where that person is driving to.
Yeah. Or like I wonder where this person is going.
Or like,
especially if they have a specific thing going on, like maybe they have a specific outfit or they're carrying a hella shit or who knows? Like, you always wonder, what point are they at right now? Are they about to go somewhere? Or are they going home? Everyone has think about how much you have going on, how much I have going on. Everyone is in the same boat.
Yeah. Everything you just said, I was about to say.
Oh.
It's so it's so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And so that's why when I start talking to someone, I always expect kind of, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I try to talk to people and they're just like not having it. I'm just like, okay, cool. No, it's fine. I'm having a good day. Well,
so that doesn't like hate you.
No, it doesn't. I don't get offended.
Yeah.
Because it's a stranger. But if okay, so the other day at the restaurant, right? I had an amazing conversation with a 75-year-old lady.
Okay, when I tell you
I've
that,
seen it.
Yoni is a old lady magnet.
I don't know why, for some reason they all love me too.
And especially white
it's
old
always
ladies.
the white old ladies that are just like, how are you? They'll remember my name.
Yeah.
It's like if they come back to the restaurant, like, and it's so, I don't know. I think it's, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
It is what it is. I just think it's so funny.
And, even there was one time, I'm going to continue with the actual story that I want to tell, but there was this one time I seen this lady and they're all above 60.
Yeah.
65, 75.
Yeah.
So one time she came in and she was ordering food and then she was like, oh, Yoni, I love when you're here.
Oh.
I love when you're here. And then she went like this and like kind of like dapped me up like that. Yeah. And I think one of my coworkers saw it.
Yeah.
And they started laughing because it's so, for some reason, it's funny to see an old white lady go, or any old person just go like this to another person, right? So anyway, and I thought it was funny too, but I didn't laugh, right?
Yeah. It was just cute.
Yeah. And I don't know why, I just love just like old people.
Old people.
Especially old ladies.
Yeah.
Old guys too. There's a couple that come in every once in a while.
But for some reason, like old guys, old men just are always kind of like in a bad mood.
Yeah, I feel like that too. That's why I love like the old ladies, especially the ones that are like old but like active. I'm like,
it's like they're wearing those swooshy.
Yeah, exactly.
And just like on a power walk.
Those are my favorite. And so anyway, and I feel like they can tell because when I talk to them, I don't know. It's hard to explain. They've been through life, right? Like I hope to make it to 75 or 80.
Yeah.
So I always just think like, man, you have so much knowledge. That's it, period. Way more than I do.
Yeah, like you've been through the stages that are still so far ahead of me. And
that's why I love picking their brains, and I will talk and make sure they got everything they need. I'll bring stuff to I'll really go the extra mile for them, especially if they're nice to me, because not everybody's nice.
Yeah, that's true.
So if they're nice to me, then obviously, one day this lady came up to me and she was like, she told me to like, come closer, because it's always over the counter.
Yeah.
And she said, I love when you're here and I can feel your energy. And then she said, even right now when we're talking, I can feel your energy and I appreciate you.
Oh, I love that so much.
No one ever told me shit like that.
But that's actually so true.
And
you can always feel your energy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I never think of it.
You have a very like distinctive energy. Because I think even like today you went to the camera store and you told me how you met this girl that listens to the podcast. And she said later on, she said, or she posted, I don't know, she said somewhere that like, you're so nice.
Oh, I forgot.
Like everyone I know that meets
Yoni,
her name. Like Yoni's just a great guy.
You don't have to say it because we got a pod now and people are watching.
No, I'm serious. Sorry, there's like a hair that's like tickling my arm. Girls, if you know, you know. You're just constantly pulling hair from everywhere. Yeah. Anyways, off topic. But no, Yoni is just like, you are one of the nicest people that I've ever met. And I mean, like,
oh my God.
No, but it's true. So when that old lady was, she says, like, I can feel your energy.
And I felt like she was so genuine.
I totally agree with that.
She was so genuine when she said that. And that really meant to me. It really made my day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's always like the old ladies that just love seeing me for some reason. And I love seeing them.
Yeah. Anyways, tell that story from last night.
So last week, she came in like once before. I remember her. She's actually she lives in like in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And we had music night, and she came in. She ordered whatever she wanted to eat. We brought it out to her table. I think someone else brought it out. And this was still over the counter. And we were talking, and she was saying, how you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. And I was like I'm really friends with all of them. And then she said, she somehow started to talk about ballet, right? And like dance and stuff. And I told her, like my partner dances too. And but she was telling.
Used to.
Yeah, used to. And she started to tell me about how long ago she was dancing and how it was. And I just remember, I always hate talking to people over the counter because there's always someone else standing in line.
Yeah.
So I got to find that middle ground.
Like you're still at work.
Yeah, but they have no idea that there's people like looking at her like, okay.
Oh, she was in line.
Yes.
She was at the front of the line while you were having this conversation.
She just ordered.
Oh.
But she stayed there. And I love this lady. So she's talking to me. She's so excited to see me. And I just
you can tell she's just enjoying that interaction.
Yeah, and I don't even want to be at work when like at that time.
Yeah, it's like, you want to just like go sit.
Like we can go sit down right now. And she was by herself,
Aww.
She just came down to like see the music night or whatever. And so the whole time I'm thinking, how do I stop her? Because there's other people looking at me. Are you going to, like we're next in line.
Yeah.
So anyways, then she ended up, she looked back, she saw the people, and then she left. And she said, she was like, Yoni, I'm sitting right over there. I was like, okay, cool.
Oh.
Anyways, my shift was ending. And after I was done, I grabbed my stuff and I grabbed a drink and I was just kind of enjoying the rest of the music night. And then I went over to the lady. I sat next to her and I told her that I wanted to just continue the conversation because she said, I would love to be able to reach you, like, get your email or something, right?
Aww.
And
damn, she's trying to slide into those DMs.
No, it's she was.
Anyway, so you sit next to her.
Yeah, so I sit next to her, then I talk, and my brain is like, I forgot my whole point, but basically, the band started to play like a certain song.
Yeah.
And then,
I remember you said this.
Yeah, and then she said, "Oh wow, they're playing." She said, "Oh Yoni, this is one of my favorite songs that they're playing." And then she kind of like she rubbed my back, right? But it sounds.
Damn, she's making moves.
No, it sounds weird when I say it here. But in the moment, it was very like what's the word? Like endearing. Like she was. Yeah. Like I really felt like she was like my grandma or something.
Oh, so cute.
And we were talking, and I bet like my people around, like maybe like my coworkers, I don't know if they're like saw it or not, but I had like a real
connection in that moment. Yeah, and
not,
it didn't
not even
feel
a
weird.
connection with that in that moment, but just like I had a good conversation with her.
Okay,
I guess connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sometimes
anyways.
just those types of connections just flow so easily, and I know. Like once you're in them, both people are realizing like, damn, it's so easy to talk to you.
Yeah.
And
I that's like one of my favorite things. And that happens a lot when people sometimes, I remember the other week, this person, she was like a younger lady, I mean, she might have been, I don't know, maybe like
40.
like 35, something like that. She came in right before we were closing, and the kitchen closed already, and she wanted to order something, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we just closed. Like they just closed everything. You literally can't make anything." And then she was like, oh, okay. And then she just started crying, you know?
What?
And I was like, I was so...
Yo, I would be like,
No, but I didn't understand why she was crying, but I can tell clearly something was wrong, right?
yeah.
And she...
And it had nothing to do with the fact that it was closed.
No. Yeah, it didn't. But she... And then she started, she started walking backwards, and she wasn't even hiding the cry.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, actually, we can get you something. If you need to cry, we're going to get you some food, whatever you need, right? So anyways, she got like an avocado toast, something like real small, right?
Yeah.
And then, she paid for it, and then she started crying, and she was like, thank you. And then she said, I really had a rough day today. And then when she said that, she started crying even more. So in my head, I was like, okay, I hate that. That really it fucked me up a little bit, because I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. Again, everybody goes through shit and we have no idea. That's why I always just want to be nice to everybody.
And I'm thinking about I
don't care who if I've never seen you, you don't need to give me a reason to be nice to you.
Yeah.
I start with niceness, and if you give me a reason to not be as nice to you, then of course.
I will not be nice to
you.
Yeah. But the same way that you might be going through some shit one day, or when I'm going through some shit and I'm going to a coffee shop and I have all these things in my mind of personal life, professional work shit, whatever it is, stress and all that. And then I'm simply just nobody around me at this coffee shop has any idea how much is going on in my head and how stressed I am. But we just gotta, doesn't, at the end of the day, you just can't know.
Yeah. There's no way you can know. So let me just continue with that story, right?
Oh, there's more.
No. So she sat down, and I went over to her, and I was like, do you need anything else? And she was like, no, but she looked very, very sad. And I was like, are you okay? I don't know how to ask someone that's clearly not okay. How do I ask them if they're okay?
Yeah. And also, is it my place to ask them if they're okay?
Exactly.
For example, if you're walking on the street, that's another thing too. Let's say you're walking on the street and a person is just bawling their eyes out or crying and they're clearly in distress. Do you walk up to that person? You're like, hey, are you okay? Can I help you?
I don't know.
Do you do that?
I don't know.
I felt that conflicting feeling of they're a stranger. I'm a stranger to them. They're clearly not okay. But would it even help if I say anything to them?
I think
do they even want me to say anything to them?
But
because there's some people that would be like, no, leave me alone.
I think it always helps.
I have no idea.
One time I remember, this is years ago when I was in Belgium still.
Wait, do you want to finish the other story?
Oh, yeah. So I asked her, are you okay? I didn't know how else to ask her. And she said, no, not really. She said, today it's been exactly... I think she said today it's been exactly 2 months since my grandpa died, passed away. And as soon as she said that, she started crying again. Damn. And so I sat down, because I hate to stand up while someone is sitting down, He's
looking down.
Yeah, exactly. So I asked her if she don't mind if I sit down for a second. Mm-hmm. She was like, no. And then we talked a little bit, and she showed me a drawing. She's an artist, so she showed me a drawing that she made of him, and it looked exactly like him. She showed me a picture, and it was her sister. Her grandpa was here. She's sitting here, and then her sister was sitting on the other side. And she said, I just finished this project, and today is the day that I finished it, and it's been exactly 2 months, and it's just been so hard, And that shit almost made me cry, yo. I was so...
Because you could feel how hard it was on the other person.
And then I had to share my story a little bit, a couple months ago with my aunt, and the things that's been happening, and so I could feel I could feel her pain somewhat,
Yeah.
I shared a little bit, and she was asking me questions, and I was asking her questions. And for a second, I just zoned out. I forgot I was at work even. I was just like there with her for like 20 minutes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, 20 or 15 minutes. Because I feel like, I don't know, like it wasn't so busy at work anyways. And I just feel like that moment was important for me to have. You know, even for myself, but also for her.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, I got, you know, I after we talked, I kind of zoned, like I realized that I was at work again. And I told her I have to get back to work.
Yeah.
But, you know, good luck with everything moving forward. It was the first time that I see her there.
Yeah.
And then I asked her, you know, if I can give her a hug. So she got up and then she started crying so much when I gave her that hug.
Oh.
And that was not on purpose. I just wanted her to like feel like good, you know?
Like you just feel like that's actually just that the human to human, like that's just what we need in that moment.
Exactly. That's why, because I could have got up and just left, but I was like, I need to give you a hug and just, you know.
Even though she's a stranger and this is the first time we're having a conversation.
At that moment, I didn't even think she was, she's a stranger. Obviously she was. But yeah.
Yeah. Because I do think about that.
I think it's so important. Anytime you have the chance to do something like that.
Yeah. It's a tricky like situation. I think there's been a few times where I've seen people around me just in a public setting, like even in a restaurant or a coffee shop, and you can just tell like a person might be like crying and they're just sitting at their table. And my first initial human response is to like ask if they're good, like, but then I also don't know if that person would think like I'm just being nosy and I want to know what's happening in their life. But at the same time, I don't know you, so I technically don't really care. But you seem like you're really having something's going down in your life. And I don't know if sometimes it's just helpful. And that's the beauty about strangers, how you said before. They don't know you, what you tell them. There's this weird vulnerability you can just have with people you don't know. You know, it's the same thing with also when people go to therapy, a big part of it is the fact that this person is not a person that's technically close to you in your life. They are a stranger, but because they're your therapist, you're kind of just vulnerable with them and they help you, but they don't judge you because they have no personal connection to you. There's no formed relationship. And I think it's that same concept.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is how I want life to be. And I would want people to like treat me the same way also. Yeah. And I think everybody deserves that. So I don't know. I'll just never forget that day. And then she left and I can she was smiling. She was like, okay, bye, Yoni. I think her name was like Brittany or something like that.
I know that in that moment she left and she was like, wow. Because she didn't go into the restaurant expecting to have that kind of interaction.
Yeah.
You know?
And I could just see it in her eyes when she kept looking back.
Aww.
But I couldn't. I was at work, you know, and I was just like, you know, I mean, there was nothing left to, you know. Yeah. But I don't know. I was glad I had that conversation. And then I went and I talked to, you know, my coworker and I told him.
Because they were like, damn, what went down?
No, yeah. I was like, bro, I had to talk to her, you know?
Yeah. Well, I have a story that I've actually been holding to share until we had this episode.
Okay.
That it's not even like a big story or anything, but it is a talking to strangers kind of scenario where it's not as like cute and ooh, whatever. It's kind of like that uncomfortable oversharing type of situation where you're like, I didn't expect this much like truth from you right now.
Oh, from the stranger.
From the stranger.
What?
So basically, I've been waiting for this story.
Wait, when did this happen?
This happened Halloween night.
What?
Yeah, October 31st.
You know how many episodes we did since then?
Yeah, I know, but I just knew that. I think I forgot I was going to talk about. Anyways, doesn't matter. So yeah, this happened on Halloween night. Damn. Yoni and I are not big Halloween people, so we didn't do anything that night. But I think we were going to like watch a movie or something. We were just going to hang out at home, the two of us. So I went to Trader Joe's. I love going to Trader Joe's. It's my favorite activity. We all know.
Activity.
Yeah. If you you know what I mean.
If you work from home, going to Trader Joe's is an activity.
No, but it's also a whole experience because it's a fun. They have new like cool products, and it's always like, oh, did you try this new Trader Joe's thing? Anyways, so I go to Trader Joe's, and because I go to a specific location, I like have become accustomed to the people that work at this Trader Joe's. And anyways, I do all my shopping, and then I go to a checkout. And it was Halloween night, so, the cashier asks me hey, like, what are you up to tonight? Are you doing anything? And then I said, like, oh, no, my, partner and I, we're not very into Halloween, so we kind of just like to hang out and chill, and we like to do more of, like, our thing, and those are, and I think I said, like, and, those are, like, I actually prefer doing that than, like, going out. And then the cashier, they were like, oh, yeah, me too. Like, I always prefer to stay in with my partner. Like, what is better than just spending time with your partner at home together? And I was like, yeah, totally. Like, going out is just not for me. And then
this is at the checkout.
Yeah, it's at the checkout. As they're like, ringing me up, whatever.
Is there a third person bagging your stuff?
No, there's just the two of us. And they also themselves were a little bit more like, I don't know if I want to say quirky, but they have like colored hair and they have painted nails, and I can just tell they're very that like Capitol Hill vibe. Kind of if you live in Seattle, you kind of get the picture. Yeah. So anyways, but we're having a good conversation. I can tell that they are in the mood to talk. So, and I was also good. I was like, yeah, let's chat.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. So anyways, so far it's all chill. And then they say, yeah, I like to stay with my partner I like to stay in with my partner, blah, blah, blah. And they say, but it's unfortunate that like my partner doesn't like staying in and spending time with me as much as I do. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I would say that I'm pretty lucky that my partner and we both like match in that sense that like most of the time we agree that we just want to hang out together at home and want to go outside. Because I would say that's one thing that some people are in relationships where like one person loves to go out and then the other person is such a like homebody. But we don't have that. Most of the time we agree on what we want to do.
We got pretty lucky with that one.
Yeah. Because I can't imagine like being in this relationship but you're constantly trying to like go to the club or something, and I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to go.
Not also just I don't want to go, but it's like I don't know.
I just much rather do like not that.
Yeah.
Like the one thing that I enjoy most is being at home with you watching a movie or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then the person says that, right? They're like, yeah, but my partner, they don't really enjoy the same thing I do. They'd much rather like go out and like meet people and things like that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then they go further in and they're like, and it's kind of hard to stay in this relationship because they have a big wandering eye.
What?
And I was like, oh, and I don't know what to say because I don't want
big wandering eye.
You know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Like their eye wanders towards other people, like in a relationship type of way. So
that's so interesting.
When a stranger says that, they're kind of opening the door to like me commenting to what they said. Like, what am I going to do? Be like, oh, cool. Like, what am I going to say to that? And I also get very awkward.
Yo, Alia gets the most awkward.
I get so awkward in certain situations. So I think I said some stupid shit like...
Some stupid shit.
I probably said something along the lines of, I'm trying to remember because this was a while ago.
Yeah.
But I think I said something like, oh, like that must be hard. And then they were like, yeah, but I love him so much that it's just something that I have to deal with. But, I am definitely all in with him. But I know that in other days, he's totally in with somebody else.
What?
And I'm just here like, I'm just getting Trader Joe's groceries. I don't know you. And that's where I feel like that stranger boundary is crossed.
Yo,
And I don't know what the fuck to say.
And Alia is the worst person to deal with that.
Exactly. But in that moment, what would you say?
I would just say what comes natural. Like
Such as,
so be the person, right?
so I'm saying to you like, oh, you know, my partner is basically like, I am monogamous to them, but my partner loves to go and cheat on me all the time.
And I would say, so how's that working out? Because now
so you would get more into it.
I would get even more into it because now I just want to know how the fuck is this even working?
It's just, I also think that it's the way that the cashier was like telling the story that also had a weird like delivery to it. I can't put it back together. But basically what I'm trying to say,
I would be like, I could not do that.
Yeah, I think I said something like, oh, does that get hard? Or I just didn't know what to say. And I just freeze in those moments.
You freeze so
and
much.
Somehow Yoni knows that somehow I just say the wrong thing at the wrong time.
That is.
And then Yoni's like, why would you say that? And then I said, I just didn't think in the moment. And you're like, yeah, you don't think.
I know.
And this has happened to me so many times. I always say the wrong thing in the wrong situation.
But it's not, and babe, I understand.
And it's so like.
I understand that it's not on purpose.
I truly don't think.
You know what's funny? Sometimes when I'm standing next to you and we're having a conversation with someone and they say something and your reaction is so.
Genuine.
No. Like, let's say they say something to us, right?
Okay.
But let's say, for example, they say they're talking to you right now, not to me. Okay. I'm just there. And I just know that I wish they would ask me that same question. Because for that answer, you kind of have to... It would be just like one of those situations where I'm just like, oh, please, Alia, please
don't say that thing.
Please don't say some fucked up shit, please. And you know,
think that to yourself?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh.
And then you say it.
The exact thing.
And then in my head, I'm like,
I wish we had an example of this because I find myself doing this pretty often.
And then when we leave, I'm like, babe, why did you say that?
Oh, like.
And then you're like, I don't know. I just
it doesn't
didn't
even
think.
have to be this. Doesn't even have to be a stranger situation. It's happened with people that we just hang out, that we've known. And I say the stupidest shit. Like I would go into someone's house and then I would be like, damn, it smells like dog in here. And they like have a dog.
You don't say that.
But I don't mean it.
I know you don't.
But it also is like, y'all smell this, right?
No, yes. But you don't go. Imagine you going in someone's house, right? So if you're listening to this, right? Just picture this. You go in...
Your friend's house.
Even if it's your friend.
But actually, it's more your friend than my friend. Like the connection is from you. It's not like they're my friend. They're your friend and I, by affiliation with you and their friend.
Yeah, you know? Or it could be... Yeah, exactly. So... And then just imagine you going in the house and you say... It's the first thing you say is like... Damn, it smells like dog in here. With this delivery. In my head, I'm like, babe...
Yo, I can't explain it because it's such a genuine. Like I honestly am a very genuine person. I have a very hard time being fake.
It's not about being fake.
And not about being fake, but I just really don't think.
You have to
before I speak.
Exactly. It's not about fake or not. Don't even use that. I'm a real person, so I'm gonna go in your house and say, "Damn, it smells like ass in here." You can't do that. Yeah, you're a real person, but like that's fucking rude.
I mean, there is a dog there. It smells like dog. Or, you know, I've said some other shit in the past that was so
but you can't
out
like
of pocket.
even. I don't know. I feel like
I know.
First of all, not every house that has a dog smells like a dog.
That's true.
Okay, so, and sometimes I'll go to someone's house and let's say I smell something. I will never in a million years comment on like how it smells in their house. Out loud. Like, that's just something you don't say.
Yeah.
I think it in my head, like, okay, cool.
I kind of thought, like, sometimes I say shit thinking that I'm going to be funny, you know? So I thought maybe if I say, like, damn, it smells like dog in here. I thought that funny. Was, like, funny.
Yeah, not at all.
Anyways, we live and we learn. I've done this many times, you know?
Yeah, this is...
I told the story about I basically knew some information about someone's life that I was like not supposed to know. And then I told them that I know this information. They were like, why do you know that? And in that moment, I was like, I just didn't think.
It's always in that moment that you realize, like, damn.
But it's too late because I realized after I said the thing I wasn't supposed to say.
And then you're already awkward in those situations. So now you have to dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah. And I dig myself in holes pretty often.
I don't know why I'm very aware of these things.
I don't know why I'm not.
Like, I really think twice before I speak.
And it's weird because I think internally, I'm like, there are many things that I would say and I stop myself from saying because I realize that. But then every now and then, that filter has a little hole and something slips out at the wrong time. Anyways,
something slips out.
Yeah, so that's my thing with strangers.
That's actually really funny, but it's like...
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. I would say that the only time... In general, I also think living in Seattle... strangers in general, like the assumption of talking to strangers is not there. People always assume like you're a stranger, you don't talk to me, I don't talk to you. And just in general, Seattleites are very like closed off and into themselves. And there isn't that like communal thing that I kind of felt once we went to New York. And something in me just switched. And when we were in New York, it was like Alia wasn't Alia anymore. Yeah. I was ready to talk to everyone on the street. We were in line to get some bagels. And this girl literally had her AirPods in. When someone is in line waiting for something and they have their AirPods in their ears, that is like they're telling you right now, I don't want to talk to you.
And if you talk to me, I'm literally pretend like I don't even hear you.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's, if I put my headphones on, you better believe that's also a sign to the outside world that I'm not trying to talk to anyone or be bothered by anyone. So I, as a stranger, bothered this lady that was in line to get a bagel with AirPods in. And I basically like look at her and I start saying something so that she takes out her AirPod. It's like, oh, did you say something? It's
so annoying when people do that. It's so
annoying, but hold on. I would never do this here. But because we were in New York, for some reason, something came out of me. And I was like, we're in motherfucking New York.
Yeah, clearly.
And we ended up having such a nice conversation.
She was so nice.
With that lady. And I was like, oh, have you ever had... It was such a stupid question, too. It was so like, oh, have you ever had these bagels before?
I'm like, wow, you couldn't say anything. If you're going to bother somebody...
Like, say some good shit.
If you're going to bother... you need to say something better than have you... I mean, she's a New Yorker, so... And that was like one of the most famous...
Yeah.
What is it called? What was it called?
Court Street Bagels.
Court Street Bagels.
We have like a whole... thing in our kitchen.
Yeah, if you're in New York, go to that place.
Yeah, Court Street Bagels. Or actually, no, sorry, it's Court Street Grocers. And then they have bagels in there.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. But anyways.
By the way, fire bagels.
Yeah. And when we were in New York, we were in a restaurant. I asked the people, I guess my go-to line is like, hey, have you ever been to this restaurant before?
Oh, the couple that was sitting next to us?
Yeah, we went and got ramen.
Oh, no, it wasn't ramen.
No, it was ramen at this, it's called Raku.
Is that when I went to the bathroom and came back? You went to the
bathroom and you came back and I was having a full conversation.
I was like, when did this happen?
Yeah,
but I was so
that's
proud
always Yoni.
Yeah.
It's always like you find your way into some type of conversation with a stranger.
Yeah.
It's like my dad. It was always like, to this day, it's always... like, oh, please don't let dad start talking to some stranger about some random shit.
Do you think that sometimes when we're out and you think that with me, like, I hope Yoni's not going to start talking to...
Not to that level.
Yeah.
Not to that level.
I don't...
But yeah, so I hope that when we move to New York, I'll still have that in me. Because that's so key in being able to form relationships and friendships with people. Just having that, like, I don't care if you're a stranger, we can connect on some basic, simple shit.
You know what's really funny about strangers? Is that we're all the same. It's like if I see a stranger and I've never seen them, right? I'm looking at their outfits, looking at their shoes.
You measuring them up?
If they have, like, headphones in, I always wonder, what could this person be listening to?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I wonder where they're going. And they're probably looking at me, or maybe not them specifically, but another stranger can look at me and say, wow, that guy got a nice outfit on. I wonder what he listens to. Or like, where is he
Is
going?
that what you think people think of when they look at you?
No.
They're like, damn, where he got his
No.
pants from?
No, it was just an example.
Oh my God.
And so what I mean to say is that the same way I think about strangers and see them every day, people judge us the same way also.
Yeah.
We're just strangers to everybody. But so that's why I've never really been scared to like approach a stranger. Because this whole thing, it's
I'm
where
really
you're kind of like
to approach like girls. Because
why?
I have no idea.
I don't care if it's a guy, girl. For some reason though, 40-year-old men are like my least like favorite people to talk to.
Huh. Okay.
Like 40, 50. But if you're like younger or way older, that's fine. But it's like that 35 to 45 age
For
with
me,
the man that we just don't click.
Interesting.
And obviously I'm generalizing. Obviously there's
yeah. And also like you don't really know how old they are, just like what they appear as.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, let me just take it back because it's so broad. Like,
but for me, I have a hard time approaching girls.
Girls are just mean to each other
if they're like in a group.
I mean, why would you do that?
I don't know if I have something to say or like
you would never have something to say.
I would never have something to say.
Hey, can I be your friend too?
But I wouldn't say that. I just think that if it's a girl just
Honestly,
by herself,
you got to have a lot of confidence.
Different than if it's like a girl with other friends like together. Like I'm saying a lot of like, so I apologize. But let's say we are at a party in New York. We just moved there. We're at an event or some type of thing, like a gallery or whatever people do in New York.
You can tell Alia wants to do that shit.
But I actually have a little bit of anxiety just thinking about how I feel like I would be scared to go to something like that in New York because I would be very intimidated. Because in a city like New York, everyone's super confident. Everyone's confident to just, this is New York. People are unapologetically themselves and confident. And people in Seattle are totally not like that in comparison.
Okay, so tell me why you would feel intimidated.
I would be intimidated because they know who they are. They are wearing some, like everyone in New York wears like cool outfits and is like just so cool. And then
not everyone.
I don't want to go into a conversation and then they're like, damn, she's a loser or like some
Yo, you gotta think. You can't think
or
like
something
that.
like that. Like maybe I'm not cool enough to even be there.
What?
Maybe they're like, damn, what designer shit are you wearing? Or I don't know.
I don't know what type of
Or like, oh, you're just an influencer? Well, I'm an artist.
That's actually, she's not even joking. That's
I'm not
some
even
real
joking.
shit.
That's actually how I feel.
The reason why you should be confident is, this is how I see it. I moved to a new city. I've never been there. Nobody knows me. Nobody. That's exactly why I can show up on that first event that we go to or whatever, right? And just totally be myself and be confident because everyone is meeting each other over like at that specific spot also for the first time.
Well, no, I don't know. I'm sure there's people that like when you go to events here, you see people that
I guess you see
already.
the same people.
I'm sure people go there with people they know.
When I go somewhere and it's my first time there, for some reason, like I don't have a reason to be intimidated by anybody because it's my first time there. So if you show up, this is something my dad told me. When you go to a new place and it's your first time there and you start to talk to someone, you have to be like, you have to present yourself as you want to be perceived, right? Because if you just show up and you're just kind of like, you don't really speak up.
Yeah, that's exactly
Like,
how I feel like
you just
I feel
talk.
like everyone can see written on my forehead, I don't know anyone here.
No, so
me?
what I get what you're saying, but you really have to like be loud and speak up instead of just, hey, my name is Alia, just moved here from Seattle. They're gonna be like you can feel someone's confidence.
I don't think I'd talk like that.
No,
but
I'm not.
I feel like that.
You really don't talk like that.
Yeah.
But you get the idea. You get what I'm trying to say. You can talk how you talk, and you can also just like upgrade that.
Yeah.
And talk higher, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, I feel some confidence, energy," and that's when cool. I fuck with you. All right, but if you're just kind of like not talking to each other, and you're not talking to anybody, just when you go to an event and you go to the water station because you don't have anybody to talk to. And then it's like, okay, that's one thing. And then it's like,
and then you turn around and you're like, where do I go now?
Okay, so now I got my water. And then let's say the person you came with, you can't find them.
Well, that's also what happens anytime we go somewhere together. Yoni's so just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go talk to everyone that's here.
I apologize.
And you leave me.
I apologize.
And you just know Alia is like a lost puppy. She's like, I don't know what to talk to.
Have you ever been to a mall, like when you were a kid, right? Mm-hmm. Like maybe you're 6 or 7 years old.
Oh, that's hell young. But yeah.
Yeah. Or 8. Mm-hmm. And you were there with your parents, your sisters, your brother, and then you lose them. Have you ever been lost as a kid?
In a store?
Yeah, in a store or in a mall. You know how much that shit used to happen to me, and I used to cry.
That happened to you a lot? I don't think that happened to me that many times.
No, because when I used to just go.
Actually, I used to go, but I knew that like I was never scared. If anything, I would like break jars or something.
Nah. So, anyways, when you were saying that I leave you and you're like a lost puppy, it made me think of like a kid losing like their parent. I'm not saying that I'm your parent, but you get
but it kind of feels. I get that because it kind of feels like that because you just have.
This is what happens.
Have no, like, I don't know how you just enter in conversations in a way that's not weird. Like, I feel like, who am I to just start going into a conversation? And I just also don't know how to enter.
You're just like everybody else.
But if a conversation, like, I don't know where to go because everyone around me is having discourse.
Okay, listen, when you go to a place like that, let's say it's like an art gallery, there's always that one person that came there by themselves. Always.
How am I supposed to know though?
If you see them standing by themselves.
Oh, so you're saying like someone who's also standing how I'm standing by myself.
Yeah. So if we go somewhere, let's say I didn't even come with you, right? I'm by myself and I heard there's like a art gallery downtown Seattle. In my head, I don't even hit up my friends because my friends are not really into those kind of things.
Yeah.
Like my closest friends. So sometimes I just go by myself, right? Mm-hmm. I go by myself and the first thing I walk in, first I just want to enjoy the actual shit that's in there. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, everybody's like talking, connecting and networking. So automatically I'm like, okay, who is here by themselves? Because it's always awkward to enter a conversation that's already happening. Like, who are you?
Exactly.
Like, you can't do that. Like, you're doing two things. You're interrupting and they don't know you.
Yeah, and also it's like you kind of enter and you're just standing there.
You don't do that.
It's awkward.
Yeah, I don't even do that. I just go and I find
someone that's by themselves.
You know what though? Actually, I remember doing that a couple of times when there's just strangers talking to each other and I just joined them.
Yeah, I've seen you do that before. Like it was a while ago, we went to this like, I guess not party, but like gathering. Yeah. And there was a group of just girls that were just like talking to each other. And to me, if I see a whole group of girls talking to each other, in no way am I going to try to insert myself into it.
Was it a group of-
Especially if like I don't know at least one person in that group. And I didn't. So I was like, that group for me is probably off the table for the night.
Yeah. Was it a group of... Wait, did I talk to them?
Yeah. And then about 30 minutes later, whatever, I just remember looking over and there's Yoni chatting it up with this group of girls. And it seemed like a really nice conversation. And I was like, how did he enter? How do you just find yourself?
I think I remember that
it?
night. Yeah, I really don't know. You just got to say some random shit.
But do you just say it kind of like you like pop it in there jokingly? Like I wasn't listening, but I was listening to what you guys were talking about. You know?
A lot of the times, the stuff that I say has nothing to do with what they were talking about.
Oh, so you don't address something that they were talking about that you just happen to hear.
Yeah, if let's say we go into a fashion event and there's a group of girls or whoever just talking and I want to just like talk to someone because I hate going places and not talk to anybody.
That's me.
I hate to just stand there and people see that you don't know what you're doing right now.
Yeah, the worst.
So I would go, if it's a group of like 7 girls, right? And they're standing next to like a rack of a specific, designer or whatever, right? I would be like, have you guys looked through this shit? I would say something about that. And then, you know what's funny?
What?
As soon as you do that, it's like whatever they were talking about ends and they start talking. If it's some interesting shit,
do you know, like when you say that is going to work? That is going to like...
Most of the time, yeah.
Like, has that ever happened to where you like said one of those lines or did one of those things that normally would work in the way you're just explaining, but it actually does the opposite and they're like...
No.
It's never happened, right?
I don't remember it happening because I also don't overthink it. Yeah. And if that, let's say it does happen, I just go to a different spot and I see a guy just like drinking water by himself. I'm like, hey, are you here by yourself? I would say...
You say that?
Yes. I don't think about... See, when I go up to someone, I don't think like, as soon as I get this close to him and I'm going to look, I'm going to make eye contact, it's not so much A, B, C, D.
Yeah. I'd be thinking like all
so
the
what
way
Alia,
from A to Z before I even go in.
So Alia, did you say all the way to Z? Yeah. So when me and Alia go somewhere, and I apologize, I really don't do it on purpose, but as soon as we get there, and I know I need to work on that.
Yoni's gone. Just left me.
Let's say you look. No, I don't. If we're standing side by side, I don't just leave you.
But what's funny is I can tell you want to leave.
It usually happens. It usually happens when you're looking at some clothes, right? And we start at the same area, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go way over there.
I hate when you do that.
And then I just go, and I ended up talking to some people there, and I forget
that you left me, and then I'm like, where do I go now? Especially because you always go ahead and talk to some guys, so I don't want it to be like your girl is just like following you.
Anyways, you have to be, and I know you're a confident person. That's the funny thing. I
am, and you've seen me in social situations where like this is slightly off topic, but when you see me in social situations where like something switches and I go from this very like timid, not like insecure, but I just doubt my social abilities. But then somehow I just like take a go at it and I insert myself and then I just go and then it's all good. And I'm in the role of it. You kind of get in this role of sociality.
Yeah. And then you can't stop talking.
And then I can't stop talking. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when we move or even before then, we talked about that on the last episode. I feel like you do a lot of thinking what other people think of you while you're doing the thing.
Yeah, as in like I care a lot about what other people think of me.
You have to like completely stop that shit. Because I do not give a shit. If we go somewhere, I don't like whatever I'm wearing, this is how comfortable I am. I'm going to talk to you because guess what? You're another human being. No one is above anybody else. I don't feel like I'm above you. You don't feel like I'm above you. And I don't care what you're wearing or how much it costs or what car you have. I'm going to talk to you like I talk to everybody else. And if we connect, that's cool. And if we don't connect, then all right, cool. I'm having a good day. We didn't connect, then I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
I don't know. And I do actually create all of these scenarios and things in my head and give them so much more power than they need to be. It's like for New Year's, I was really not trying to do shit. And we ended up doing something. But I was really, I had like no social battery whatsoever. But I just knew Yoni wanted to go. So I was like, okay, we'll go.
No, let me tell you what happened. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, what happened?
Right before leaving, we saw our neighbor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
she knocked at our door.
Yes. She brought some nice wine. We really appreciated
some
it.
Champagne. For like a New Year, she's like, oh, Happy New Year. Here's a bottle of wine.
And that was very nice of her. And then I asked her, obviously, I love to ask people questions. And I was like, are you doing something? It was tomorrow night. It was the next night. Or was it the same night?
Oh, no, it was the same day. She was like, "Oh, I'm hearing voices, so I came over to give you this."
And she said, yeah, I think, because I told her we might stay in, like we might not do anything. And then she said, oh, actually this year.
She said we normally just put on like fancy pajamas and then we go over to my friend's house and there's usually just like 3 or 4 couples and we just have like a nice, charcuterie board and wine or something.
But she said, but this year I want to like dress up and
go out.
And
we're talking about like she's in her 50s vibe.
And I was just thinking, as soon as she said that, I was like, it made me want to go out.
Yeah, it made you realize like, New Year's, it's once a year.
It's once a year. So, and then we just left, and I really appreciate you for,
But you
had a good
knew
time.
how much I didn't want to go though.
I know.
And it was layered into, actually so much of the reason why I didn't want to go is because where we were going, I was like, everyone where we are going really care about their clothing and their appearance and like what they're wearing, and everyone's like, oh, I gotta have a fit on. And you also had just bought a really nice kind of like set where it was like a pair of pants that went with this kind of jacket thing, and it was really nice. You could just tell it was a fit.
It was the same color. It was all blue.
Yeah, and it was a really nice outfit. And I was like, oh, just the idea that I have to pick an outfit that I think is cool and nice.
But it can be very simple, but still cool.
And it ended up being simple and chill, but I also just felt good in it. But it was just the idea of it and the fact that I had to like just worry about that. And I was like, the energy that I have to devote to something like this. And then on top of that, having to go and socialize, and I don't know exactly who's going to be there and all these things. And I really just get in my head about these things most of the time.
Yeah, so I really got Alia out of the house with that one.
And then when we got there, guess what? As soon as we walk in, I see someone that I know and I haven't seen in a while. I was like, oh, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. And then they were there with somebody that I didn't know. But then I was like, hey, my name's Alia. And they're like, oh, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. And then we got into it and I was making jokes and all that. And I got in my social butterfly shit. And then it felt great.
It's always like that. And at one point I looked over and I was like, oh my God, all this drama in the house. I feel like Alia, she just needs to like,
it's a process.
Get an outfit and somebody just like, drive there. I think it's just getting there is what really is bad.
It's the same thing with going to the gym.
Because if you could just snap a finger. It's not even
about being at the gym is not hard. It's just getting there.
Getting dressed.
The same thing with social gatherings or any type of thing.
Getting the gym outfit.
Yeah.
Speaking of the gym, I have a question about why do girls wear these spandex that like go in your ass?
I think we've talked about this in another
on the episode.
Yeah. So I think maybe we get into that.
No, but can you tell me why?
Episode.
Can you tell me why?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think we need to talk. This is like
Can't you work
preview.
out? Can't you like work out in some regular clothes? Like,
but what's wrong with wearing those that you can see the full butt?
Because then when I go to the gym and like if someone is like walking in front of me with that shit, doing squats and shit, it's
and
like,
you basically see like their whole butt. Because like it's the type of legging that like goes in the crack.
But why? So, and I saw that the other day, and trust me, like I'm not complaining. I'm not saying.
No, I know you're not.
Okay, but I'm just saying. What's the point of that? Is that just to get attention? Because you can get the same workout in with some loose shit.
I would say that it's comfortable to wear leggings.
But not those.
No, not those. Like just regular like Lululemon leggings. They don't go in your crack.
So what's the point of that's?
I don't know. I've never worn those, so I can't tell you like
if they're
more comfortable. I would imagine they're not, because if you're working with, maybe they don't even wear like underwear.
Yeah.
But when you wear like your leggings and underwear, it's already kind of uncomfortable. So I can't imagine if you're already gonna like also wear a pair of leggings that goes in your butt and it's just a lot of layers in there.
So I don't
know. I've never worn them, and I also have no desire, because already being in the gym as a girl, it's like if you're wearing a sports bra and you're wearing just leggings, or sometimes I wear like leggings and like a looser shirt, you know, I already feel like sometimes depending on what I choose to wear, like maybe if I get hot and I only have a tank top, a sports bra underneath and I take it off.
Do you feel like people looking at you?
Not all the time, because I'm also not on the lookout to see if someone's looking at me. But sometimes there are times where maybe you walk around the gym from like one area to the next. Like if you're at the weights and then you go to the cardio and you walk across the gym. Sometimes people just look at you, because I look at people that are around the gym.
I look at people all the time.
But I just think that like you already feel watched sometimes by guys at the gym, that as a girl, I've experienced that before. And sometimes I'm like, fuck, can I just like be at the gym without feeling this like being watched type thing? And then wearing something that is going to get you even more attention. I just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But then again, I also don't know if like there's actually a purpose to those leggings, because I've never worn them. Yeah, but I just wouldn't really want to, because I just know
there's going to be
all
more
the
people.
eyes are going to be on the ass.
Right.
Because also my eye goes to her ass, whoever she is, when she's wearing those leggings. Like even if I'm a girl or a guy, it's like the eyes go to that, because it's almost like she's not wearing anything.
Yeah. And you can't control the eyes. I'm sorry. You know, like if we... there's something about that. If I see that just like walking by, I have to focus my eyes to not look. If there was a rule to like not look.
Yeah. What made you just bring that up?
No, because I saw that the other day when I went to the gym, and I was really wondering in my head. I was thinking like,
is there an actual functional purpose to this?
Yeah, and I have
no idea. If you wear those leggings, let us know.
Let us know if you're wearing this. We really actually want to know, is that just to maybe like boost your confidence because you know you look good, or is it just more comfortable if you want to like do some leg exercise?
Like I really maybe don't they know. Are super comfortable. I have no idea.
Yeah, and they look good. Mm-hmm. Like anybody who wears that, it looks good.
Yeah, but I just amplifies the bosom.
The bosom.
The bosom.
What's a bosom?
Isn't that another way of saying butt?
Yo, that is such a nasty word.
The bosom?
Yeah, stop saying that.
The bosom. Anyways, I think it's time to end the pod.
Yeah.
I think we got out all the things we needed for the day.
We got it all out. This was a nice chill pod. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the heat sometimes. And some other times we're going to be chill.
For the last episode, I thought that 2 hours was a very long time. But a lot of people enjoyed it. People enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we should have more. I call it an accident on Instagram.
It was an accident because I didn't think we had 2 hours in us to talk about what we did.
I did not think at all. Today we thought we was going to record for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I
think we always record more than we think we will. But I think that's okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're just going to have one topic that we want to talk about, and we're going to finish it. It's going to be 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're going to be like, okay, I guess that's it for the day.
We want to say thank you to everybody who's been commenting on the videos on YouTube.
And watching those videos.
And watching the videos, sharing it with people.
Putting it on the TV.
Oh, I know. Anytime, please, if you're watching it on your TV, I don't know, for some reason it feels so weird to see that, because
it's like that's a whole show,
yeah. And I don't know, I just always appreciate when people like tag us in those posts, like on their stories and stuff like that, because it makes their like people want to check it out also. So it's really like it's helping the pod, and
we wouldn't be here without any of y'all. So
like, comment, subscribe, let your mom know, let your dad know,
let your friends know
that we have a cool podcast, the best podcast in the world,
called What's the Juice.
And have a good day. Shout out to your dog. Someone told me, I have to address this. Someone said, I love your what's the juice. Shout out to your dog saying. Mm-hmm. But she was like, don't you think cats deserves a shout out too. And
Listen.
wait a second before think before you speak.
Okay, this is a platform and an outlet for me to speak my mind.
I know, but you also have to be responsible because you do have a platform.
Okay, so why do you say that now? Because do you just know what I'm about to say?
Yes.
What am I about to say? Let's see, how well do you know me?
Listen, some people love dogs, some people love cats, some people love both. I don't know many people who really love both at the same time.
It's always you're either a cat person or a dog
It's
person.
kind of like Nike versus Adidas. You commit to a team.
Nike all the way.
Yes. Oh yeah, Nike, by the way.
You used to be so like an Adidas guy. But
I love Adidas.
You came back to the
I
right side.
Speaking of that, I have a problem because I have certain Adidas items that I really love.
Yeah.
But I also love Nike. And I feel like I can't wear Nike socks with like Adidas shoes.
I don't own any like kind of branded logo stuff like that, so I don't have to worry about it.
Anyways.
I don't think I ever owned anything Adidas. Or maybe like the Adidas slides a long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyways, but what were you saying? Oh yeah, so cats. I'm just not a cat person. So
I am not a cat person because I've had a bad experience with one cat. And I know it sucks for all other beautiful and cute cats in the world. I know.
Really?
Yes. Bad experiences.
Like you got scratched?
Scratched for no reason. I was just chilling and the cat just...
I think it's just my perception of cats. It's like they're always just kind of like... You low-key forget that they're there. A dog is loud.
Because they forget that you're here.
They do hella shit. They're running around. They're barking. They're very... a big personality. But then you have cats that, from my cat experiences, most of the time I forget this person even has a cat. Because it's just kind of somewhere, and they're like scratch you, and
not all cats.
But not all cats, because for example, my friend Hannah, her cat is so cute, so cute.
Yeah. So, shout out to all animals, but shout out to your dog is.
It's just on brand. It just became a thing for us. Because also, have you ever seen anyone post? Sorry if you hear that in the background, but. Have you ever seen anyone post like what's the juice something, but they had their cat in the frame? Because that's where shout out to your dog came from. Because a lot of people were posting their dog watching what's the juice, or they're like on a walk with their dog. It's like you don't take your cat on a walk.
Yeah, that's why it's always been shout out to your dog.
Yeah, but we don't discriminate. I don't want anyone to be left out. So shout out to your cat. It just doesn't roll off the tongue the same.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Shout out to your dog. It's official forever, okay?
Yeah.
But we love your cat too, though. Send me a picture or something.
Yeah. All right, y'all. It's about to be it's actually bedtime for us right now. So tomorrow's Sunday.
I just want to say that I loves everyone's cats too.
I loves everyone's cats too.
Alia is so mean to me sometimes.
That's why I think everyone thinks I'm mean. But no. Okay, can we end it? I feel like I'm ready to end it, but you're not ready to end it.
Yeah, I'm done. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a good week,
I hope you're having a good week so far, because this drops on Hump Day. So
Hump Day. Explain to people what the...
Hump Day is Wednesday.
Okay, and what does that mean for people who don't know?
It's like middle of the week. It's the hump before it goes down. It's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the top, and then Thursday, Friday down.
Okay. All right, let's get out of here, okay?
Okay, Yoni's being awkward now, so I'm just gonna end it. Shout out to all the dogs and all the cats and all of you guys listening. Thank you so much for the time you spend with us. And now we're gonna go to bed. So have a good rest of your week.
I kind of want to watch a movie before we leave.
No, before we leave.
Yeah.
You want to watch the movie right now?
Yeah.
The people.
No.
Imagine we watched the whole movie and recorded the movie and talked about it. That'd be so funny.
Like in real time?
We're gonna just stop recording.
I think we can keep recording. It's fun if we just... What am I even saying right now?
I'm just gonna take the mic off.
I think... yeah. Anyways, bye guys. Sorry. I was thinking about something I wanted to bring up, but it's too late. It's late.
Over.
Okay. Alia,
if you're still here...
Just so you know, if you're watching this right now...
Or listening.
As soon as this ends, Alia will talk to me off air and tell me, Yoni, you can't be doing that shit.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay, bye.